Hi, it's Jane from the Compassion Project, and I am super excited today to be here with Rasa. Welcome, Rasa.
Hi, Jane.
Rasa is, first of all, Rasa, you're such a loved woman. All your friends just love you so much. I thought, wow, this girl is obviously amazing. So Rasa is a very inspiring, dynamic, heart-driven woman. She is a transformational teacher, a high performance coach, business consultant, real estate investor, and a beach volleyball and surfing enthusiast. I was like, wow, impressive. She lives in Manhattan Beach, California with her husband, Sam, and she is the mama of two gorgeous children, Thomas 5 and Aria 3. They are just honestly so beautiful. So Rasa believes if you have a burning desire, no dream is too big. She grew up in Lithuania, and as a young girl, she had a big dream to one day live in America. This dream seemed impossible, but she made it a reality when she received a volleyball scholarship to University of Illinois. She arrived in the US with only $100 in her pocket and a big dream. Rasa has learned if you harness the true power that exists within you, you can live the boldest, bravest expression of who you are meant to be. I'm so excited to talk to you. So I'm all about dreaming big. And so I want to start in Lithuania when you were young. So you were born and raised there. And just like what, if you can feel or remember as a young child when you started to think you were dreaming bigger.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Jane, thank you for having me. I think you're doing an amazing job. And this project has been such a just gift to me, be part of it, observing it and seeing other amazing women. And then now being here with you myself, I just wanted to say thank you. I truly feel honored and really, really grateful. And yes, I'm so excited to share my story. So I think I was like 8 or so, and I had this, not even a dream, just like knowing, like I knew I will be in US. And back then we were in Soviet Union. Lithuania didn't get out of the Soviet Union until 1991. And I think this dream started even before then. And I didn't really share with too many people, but I like really knew it. So I think about like I was like 12 or maybe 11. I decided, so the only way for me to come to US is to win the green card lottery. Because every year, I don't know if you guys know, every year there's like 50,000 green cards are given out across the world. So Lithuania used to get about 200 of them. So I'm like,
I did not know that.
I'm going to be, yes. So I don't know the quota still, but it's still a program.
Okay.
So like for people across the world, this is one of the things, how you can come to United States and like live the American dream, right? So I thought, this is it, because I really just know it, I'm going to be there. So I was, and you have to be 18 to play it. So I would sign up my parents every year for this card. And I'd be like, every time I would check, like you sign up in November, I still like remember the days, and you check and like they tell you in like May or something, and I would check and I'm like, well, next year is my year for sure. So I think I was like 16 or 17. I still haven't won, but I'm still like, I just know it because I know it's happening. And I remember I'm sitting in at my volleyball practice. I was, we were like one of the top teams in the country, and I played for my national team. So we're sitting at the end of the practice, and my coach just kind of gives her speech, and she goes, well, I have this old teammate of mine who lives in Illinois, and her daughter plays basketball at University of Illinois. And there's this coach who's looking for good volleyball players. And all my girlfriends, all my teammates just kind of walked away giggling into the locker room. And I sat there and I was like, this is it. This is it. And I did not know, we didn't have a computer or email or anything, but I was like, how can I get a hold of him? And give me an email address. So emailed the coach, like I had to go to Translation Bureau and like tell them, like, I want to say, hi, I'm Rasa, I play volleyball, I'm from Lithuania. It was crazy. So then my mom went to work. Somebody at her work was able to send this email, and this coach sends back, send me your video. And I'm like, I don't even know a single person that has a camera. That was back in 2002 or 2001. Back then we didn't have cameras. And I was like, oh, here comes my dream. And then a week or two later, they announced that one team from Lithuania are going to travel to Canada, represent Lithuania to play beach. And we're like 17 at the time. We were pretty good at our age. Like, I'm like, if it was my age, like, I know I have a chance to win it, but it's against adults. And we had this team, like, it's like Misty May and Carrie Walsh of Lithuania. They won everything. They were just amazing. I'm like, so everybody thought they're for sure going. They're the team that's going to go represent Lithuania. And we're here, we're in the finals, we're playing, and we lose first game. And then something happened. And I remember there's something happening inside. I was like, next thing I remember, I played like insanely. And the next thing I remember, I'm sitting on the grass, like on the top of this, hill, and everybody's saying, congratulations, we won the game. So we won second and third match, and everybody's like in awe because it was like almost a formality. Everybody thought this team is going to go, and here's these 17-year-old girls they just sweep them. And and I sit there and I'm like, this is it. And the reason I knew that if I come to Canada, that this coach can come there and see me. And it did happen. He came and saw me, and he loved what he saw, and he offered me a scholarship.
Really? Okay, so did you go, were you in Toronto? Was it in Toronto?
It was in Ottawa.
In Ottawa.
Yeah, it was the Francophonia Games. It was like a mini Olympics. It was an amazing experience, actually. Lithuania is not a French-speaking country, but this was for all French-speaking countries. So there was I think I remember 36 countries were there. We had like the parade of all countries where you carry the flag, and it was an amazing experience just itself. It was huge. But the fact that the coach came and he offered, and then he said, oh, well, you also have to pass the exams to get into college. And I was like, oh, okay. So, and the only exam was held 6 months, and it's SAT and SAT and
the SAT, I know that one.
And SE. Anyway, there's two of them. I said I will take SAT because it has more math. So I chose that. So I did that, and I had to study about 4 to 6 hours every day because I needed to learn about 100 words a day. So I
did you speak English?
I didn't speak English back then.
Okay, you did. Okay, wait a second. Look at this young girl. I love that this is you with this burning desire, knowing it's like you knew. So these are the steps you had to take, but the determination where other girls might be like, no, they just weren't interested, but you just knew that. That's amazing.
And that's what it is why and I love that you put that in that because that desire drives it. If you don't have that desire, nobody can make you or tell you, or you will take one step, but you'll say, no, thank you. So, oftentimes when we think we don't have the motivation or we don't have the resources or don't have anything, it's usually the desire is not strong enough, right? So if you feed that desire, whatever that is, whether that's for, a deeper relationship, a better financial freedom, to live where you desire to live, get something, accomplish something that you desire. It's the desire that we had to feed. Once we have that desire, we will find it. You'll see how that next step unfolded. If I had to think about it, well, I'll never, this coach will never see me. He will even if he's seen, I don't speak English. I don't even know how, if I had thought all of these steps, I would got overwhelmed. I would have never gone for it. But I just knew, when we talked earlier today, just what's this little right next step in the direction of my dreams. So that was the
right next step. But also, I think it's interesting what you said is about how you're thinking. So even at a young age, to be aware of your thoughts and not let the negative thoughts take over, where you're you're pulled off track, where you're like, no, I am going to do this, and you know what I mean? It's the positive thought. So how old were you then when you left to go to university? How long after?
18. I think it was the summer we were in 2001, and I was 17, I think. And then that was really the next year that I was supposed to go to college. So it was like really timely. And I think the beautiful thing, this story reminds me again and again is, sometimes we think, if I wanted to accomplish this, this is how it's going to happen. In my mind, it was the lottery that I'm going to win. And what it did is, like, if I did want that lottery, my parents did not have the money to buy even tickets to go to US, let alone establish a life. And it was not even a dream of my parents. So I don't even know if they ever went, right? It was a dream of mine. And here is what I talked to you, right? When the universe always says, yes, but not now, or I have something better for you. So to me, that was, I have something better. Let me help you here, because, we will buy that ticket and you will get a scholarship, and you will get an education. You'll get integrated with the American culture. You will learn, you will compete at the highest level. You get the greatest education, and it's all here, right? So when I had that offer, I was like, well, yeah, it's better than I could ever imagine, because I didn't know that the scholarships existed. I didn't know that they had universities. Well, the teams at Amazing Lover were playing, and there's so much support there. So,
okay, that's amazing. So it's like you as a young girl, but that idea of the green card gave you that hope and that dream. So that's how you're going to get there. But then the universe had another plan, the right plan. And I think it's having faith, like they say with life, to go with the flow. Like, and when it feels right, when things feel right, it is what the universe saying, this is where you're going. How did your mom, like, did you go by yourself, or did you go with other friends?
I came by myself, and I remember one time my mom opening the door to my bedroom, and I'm like, books, all of my things spread out. Like, I created this in the whole system, how I'm going to learn this English in 6 months, right? Like, I didn't have a tutor or teachers or anything. Like, I remember I printed the entire SAT book because we couldn't, I think there was $100, and I was like, my mom's like, we don't have $100 on the book. So I printed, it took me a day to print this book. Imagine printing that one. I'm like, so anyway, I divided that into 6 files. Each file is divided into 4 other, like for a week, and then into each day. So I knew each day what my material was and how many words I had to learn. So and I just like literally systemized it and just took one.
This is amazing, because you're creating your dream. You're making, as a teenager, that you're making choices. You're doing all the things because you've got the ticket, you can go, but you have to do all these steps. As a mom, interesting. I'm so curious how your mom felt, because I have a daughter that moved to Australia to do her master's degree. And we actually took her there and moved her in, and leaving her to know that letting your kids, giving them the wings to fly and letting them create the life they want. But as a mom, it's hard to say. Are you the only daughter?
I have a brother who's younger, so he's still there, but her heart, and we have, and that's another, me and my mom had such a close relationship all growing up. We're like best girlfriends, and like literally, like people, like when we walk up like shopping, they think we're sisters because
she looks young. I saw it.
And we're like, look, we're like the same height, we're like the same size, we're like exchange clothes all the time. So she was heartbroken. She was, and it was really hard, and she almost kind of had to rediscover herself. And so that one part, so that I remember, like, I've got into yoga. It's like, Mommy, I need something. So, because it was really hard. And then when I graduated college and started working, one of my things I wanted to save for is to take my mom to Italy and Paris. So I think I was like, got my first job in that. And then, so that was like one of the first things I was saving towards. And then I was able to go to Italy with her, and we spent a week there and traveled like Rome and all of this. And that was just such a beautiful experience. And, we're so far. We're literally like across the globe, this 10-hour difference. We talk almost every day.
Aw.
And I think she's on. I did chat,
Aw.
and she's cheering me on. And she's honestly been the most amazing, impactful, influential person. And then I had another dream because of that. I was like, I just wish for a daughter. I just wish to have this relationship with a daughter that I had with my mom. And now I have a beautiful little girl.
Okay, so yeah, your beautiful children. So you went to university. Where did you meet your beautiful husband?
It's actually at our first company that we worked together. And I had like, it's the craziest thing. I had all these offers for the top consulting firms. And so that was interesting. I really wanted to study psychology. That was my heart's calling.
Okay, this is something I wanted to talk to you about, and we'll go there now. Is that I really looked into Rasa. I said, this is an incredible woman. But her desire, her actual passion was to study psychology and human behavior, right? That was your human potential. And you ended up going into finance. And
the reason being because I knew I'm going to have to, if I want to stay in the US, I have to get a visa, work visa. Okay. And it's really hard to do. You have to be in there's certain professions that allow us to do that. And so that was logically like, I know if I'm in finance, I'll get a visa. And I know I'll be able to support myself. And studying numbers was a lot easier than reading books and writing papers in English back when I was a freshman. So it just seemed like a natural, logical step. So I feel like that was the first time when I went, not with my heart, but with my head. And I don't regret it. It all happened. I met my amazing husband. I was able to build a lot of, skills and I've got amazing experiences, but it was departure from where my heart is calling. So it's just interesting how but
you see on that is the same with the universe going, okay, this is your calling, the human potential, but be patient. You need to take this route and you're going to learn a lot of skills. You're going to meet your husband.
Could be because my other desire was to go and just play beach volleyball, right? Like I still competing, like right after college, this was another amazing story. Sorry, I keep going away, but like I really wanted to compete on the professional beach volleyball tour. And so the first summer after my work, something happened with my work visa. And they said, you cannot work from May till October. So I was like, oh, this is like just perfect through the volleyball season. So like this amazing tour signed me up as a top player, a sponsored player. So I went on and I traveled across the country, and that's actually give me the time to take my mom to Italy. So I spent all this time, and that's how I came and discovered Manhattan Beach. And I came here and I was like, it's crazy. It was like there's this really tall hills. And I was like, I've seen these tall hills. I've seen them in my dream when I was a kid. So it was the craziest, it took me back. I'm like, I've seen these. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, it all happens for a reason if we just kind of go, one could say, wow, you don't get to work, for 6 months. What about your income? What about this? And there's so many beautiful things happen in that time. Like I get to play volleyball and I realize oh, maybe I wouldn't want to do just full time, right? And then I get to spend time with mom, and then I get to experience this place that I would have never probably experienced. And so it's how we take those that looks like a step back, but it's actually like Maya says, Maya Kamarata, it's actually a sling forward. So anytime it feels like a step back, you know what? It's just a sling forward. So
that's good. That's Maya Kamarata Stewart said that.
Yeah,
I like that.
She's my teacher, and I've been just, if you haven't, I know you've seen her work, and she's just one of the amazing, inspiring people that I've ever met, and I'm so honored to have her as my teacher, as my coach, as my guide. She's changed my life, empowered me to step into my dreams, and so I'm excited to now to do that for others.
Shout out to Maya! Woo! Okay, so what I want now I know you're in coaching, you're incredible. And actually, I'm going to read this because this girl is amazing as a coach, what she believes. And I'm not talking volleyball coach, I'm talking life.
That's a bonus. That's a bonus. If you're in Manhattan Beach, that's included.
Yeah. Rasa believes a coach is a mirror, an accountability partner, a supporter of your goals, a challenger of your limiting beliefs, and a co-author of a new story about what is possible for you. I love that. I had to read that up. So now when I want to go to the time in your life where you were working this job, you were doing really well, making good money. You were valuation advisor. Is that what you were?
Yeah.
And there was a moment, and I think this is interesting, that Rasa's true passion and purpose was more like human potential and working with people. And so something happened when you were in the hospital about to give birth to your second child, the little girl, that changed. Yeah. I think it awakened you to wanting to live your truth, I guess. Hey.
Yeah, so interesting. Like, I shared kind of that drive that I had as a little girl. Like, I just knew, like, if I wanted something, like, I know I can get it. Mm-hmm. So, and then I started this career that I liked it. I was really good at, right? But like, I always had this feeling I'm not on my path. I just had it. And I know, you know when you're not. And again, I had all these successes and I've worked with like $1 billion companies. I ran like multi-million-dollar projects. I had amazing teams. I get to coach women. Like it was really, and I have, most consultants even have like really awful work life. And I was able to build it where it was not like killing me.
Right.
It was good, but yet I just wanting more. I felt like I still have more to give, more impact to make, more to just some more life wanting to come out. And I was like, felt guilty for him. Like, I have amazing husband, beautiful, I had the Thomas by then. I have a great, like, why can't I just be like fulfilled and be in bliss? And I was like,
yeah.
It almost felt like guilty for wanting more. And then I was out of the delivery room with my daughter. And Aria, this is my second child, so like everything is going well. I'm like, we're relaxed and giggling. Doctor comes in and she's like, okay, try to practice like a push. And I, and just like, okay, I'm ready to go. And then I see a terrified look on her face, and I hear all the equipment start beeping and everything. She's like, her heart dropped, and a bunch of doctors rush into the room. They politely push my husband aside. They put an oxygen mask on me. This doctor leans in and goes, "Mama, you have to get this baby out right now." And my heart drops too. And I just freeze, and this fear and
gives me goosebumps.
Worry takes over, and this vision comes, me and my husband on our knees, like my husband hugging and me crying, and I shake my head. I'm like, no, this is not going to be a reality. And then everything kind of turns slow motion, like in Matrix. I feel this almost like power takes over, and I take this deep breath, but it's like there's this peace and calm, and with like one deep exhale, like my daughter was born. She didn't cry for a second, and I got word, and the doctor put her on my chest, and I just sob, and I rock, and I sob, and I rock, and I sob her, and in that moment, like everything changed, because in that moment, I just felt the fragility of life. And I remembered all of these years, like I couldn't wait to tell my daughter, follow your dreams, follow your passions, your infinite possibilities. You can do it all. And in that moment, I decided I'm not going to be the mom that just tells it. I'm going to live it. I'm going to live it. And I didn't know how back then, but I know that I was determined. I'm like, I'm going to find that passion that I'm going to step into. And the funny thing, like that day, like it was birth of her, but it was also like rebirth of me. And what also happened, like she also reminded me of that strength and the power that I had as a little girl. Like I was like, oh, there is. It was like almost went on autopilot or like fell asleep for a little bit. And I was like, that power, it was bigger than me. It was not just me. I had help from the universe, God, whatever you call it. It was bigger than me. It was bigger. Just like it was bigger when I was following my dreams to come to US. All of the things that happened, that volleyball game, the English that I had to learn, the email that I had to drop in, like just little things that like, there's like bigger things. And if you kind of tap into that, then from that place, you can kind of like connect with that. So, you know, it was.
That is unbelievable. Beautiful story. I seriously, as a mom, having had 2 daughters, my heart is like that moment where we do think it's going to be okay. And then there's that fear of like, you know, and amazing. And I love that it rebirthed kind of you and your, so that there's, if you look back at your life, you look back and they say it's like, oh, that pivot, like throughout your life, things change and pivot and you go in different directions. And that's such a huge moment that changed the way you thought. So now I just thank you for sharing that. I loved it. And your children,
thank you for the opportunity.
Beautiful. They bring so much joy to our lives. Hey, so now your coach, is it not life coach, transformational coach is really, what are the 7 steps? I want to go through that with you so that people understand the 7 steps to creating a career and life you love. What are those 7 steps? Because that's where your journey's gone now.
Yeah. So, you know, it's beautiful. You know, we go through, some things happen in our lives and we're like, it happens like almost intuitively. When I came to the US, when I did, like there's some things just intuitively happens, but there's actually process behind it.
Right.
And so when we learn the process and kind of understand it and it becomes part of who we are, we can repeat that process, right? Like if I know I can go back to that feeling, knowing how that all kind of came together and time again, then I'm like, oh, every time there was a process to that. So, right. And it's, you know, the process is 7 steps, you know, and that's actually like, I've read, you know, a ton of books in this space and worked with like amazing teachers and it's actually parts from all of these teachings, you know, and then so it's condensed in this one program, but it starts with clarity. It starts with clarity in knowing where we are and where we wanted to go.
So that's the first step, clarity. Yeah, that's like awareness.
Clarity. Yes, if you get clarity, because what happens sometimes people say, my life is really good, you know, I have this and this, and then you would ask them to rank in certain areas and they would say, well, that's a 7 or that's an 8 or that's a 6, you know, and I'm like, well, that's, you know, if it's great, it should be a 10. Why isn't it 10? How do you know? So, but start is to kind of connecting where are there certain key areas, your relationships, your vocation, your, you know, your time, money, freedom, like what are those things? So,
okay, that's good. Okay, good. People should probably write it down too, right? People should be like, okay, number 1, what, and really try to look at it.
Yes, clarity, that's first.
Okay.
And the next one is purpose, and that's connecting what truly makes you alive. Like what drives you? What are the things like this piece was always like the connection, the coaching, the teaching, the inspiration was always there. Like I was at my corporate job and I spend so much time in all these extracurricular activities that were for women, like mentoring, coaching. I designed programs. I was part of like these, you know, and my organizations and my husband had some like, you are spending so much time. This is not like exactly what you know, and then you have to, all this work that you have to do once you put the kids down.
It's interesting because how much you learned in that career. Hey?
Yes, but that's always part of, that's where I'm like, but if I don't do this, then I cannot do what I do because I cannot, I just will, you know, that's only piece that are like keeping me in this and helping me to keep
Yeah, it was like training for you for what you're doing now.
Yeah,
So
oh yeah, definitely. So finding that's the next step. And sometimes it's harder. We think it's like, oh, that's for a few people, the purpose is like, yeah, it's for like some yogis or guru people that are like, but we long for it. And if we long for it, that there's some of that needs to come out. So that's the step second to, and then once we know where we are, we know what's driving us, then the next step is creating the life we love. And
writing it down, even though I probably don't have to.
yes.
Creating the life we love.
And it's like, and it's what is that vision? What is that vision that drives us, right? Like, what is it? Because when we don't have it, like I would have not seen that opportunity. When my coach mentioned something like in passing, I would have never heard it. Other people did not hear it. Like not a single other, my teammate did, because that wasn't the vision, right? But once you have the vision, however big, and the bigger the better, right? Because that's truly what's coming. So once you have that, you can notice the opportunities and you can notice the next step. But if you don't have it, you will never notice them. They just fly by. There's a lot of opportunities that keeps coming at us every day that we don't even know, right? Because have a little bit blinder. So this whole process is like opening it up and seeing those opportunities. They're there all the time. So that's the next step. That's 3. And then once we know what that is, right? Like there's something, it's not more talent, more money, more things that are stopping us from getting us. It's our thoughts, our negative beliefs and paradigms that have been here forever. If you ask me like, a few years ago, I've been like, I don't really have negative beliefs or fears. Like I got this, even when I was like, after reading books and studying, I'm like, I don't really. But then when you need to take that next step towards direction, you realize how much thing comes up. Oh, what will other people think? Others already doing, like, who do I think? Like there are so many thoughts come out of them, and they're usually you're not even fully aware until you start paying attention.
Oh my goodness. And Rasa, because we have 70,000 thoughts a day on average. So when people think that they're, oh no, I'm good, I don't think, when you become aware and you start to realize, my mind is wandering. I'm not even present right now. And you bring yourself back, present, gratitude, become aware. It's powerful, but we could talk all day.
That's yes. And then so then when you become aware, you can change them. But the first step is becoming aware. And then as you become aware and you have the dreams, you know what was stopping you, you can create steps. Right. And you may not know what the steps are. You might not know what all of the steps are, but you know what? You can know the next right step towards the direction. You know that when you got an email, when you got a thought in the shower, I really should reach out to so-and-so. You're like, instead of like, you can say like, I don't know, what would they think? Like, will they have time? Like literally there was times I'm like jump out of the shower in the towel, typing an email to so-and-so who came, like, I have to reach out to this person. And usually they reached out back, like, send me, oh my God, I needed this, right? So you start paying attention, you start doing it. So that's like, then you can create action plan from there. And then, that's the step number 5. And as and step number 6 is we are creatures of habits. And the habits determine our, not only personality, but our identity. Not to the rest of the world, but to ourselves. And Tony Robbins says, and I hope I don't butcher it, but it says like everything, the whole our being, conscious and subconscious mind will do whatever it takes to confirm our identity. Yeah. So once we have that identity and the patterns, you will find it. Like if you say, I cannot do something, you will find proof everywhere to confirm that.
It's true.
Right? So once you change it, oh, I think I can do it. Maybe you'll take the course. Maybe you'll do this. Maybe you'll read the book. And you're like, the more you do, like, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
It's not like, I used to, like, real estate, I thought it's like crazy for rich people, and like something, it's just for this elite group of people that, I'm not belong to. You start reading the books, you start listening, like, it's not a rocket science. I could do this. And
You
the
know,
next thing you
habits
do, and you start doing it. I'm sorry?
habits, they say change your habits, change your life. Habits are everything.
Yeah.
Little
Like
things
the
you do.
habits, it's why don't we change the habits? Because
Yeah.
it starts here, right? It's our thoughts.
Right.
We can do thoughts. And so that's why it's like your mind, body, emotions, then
Right.
action. So that's the next
Very good.
And the last and the most important, it's celebrate and create more.
Celebrate and create more. Oh, yeah.
Yes. And it's often we don't do that. It's celebrating the small wins, because what and this is a whole other belief that I have, and there's a ton of science behind it, is your emotional state attracts of more of what you are and what you are. So
I
the
agree.
more you celebrate and proud of yourself, and then this emotion, like that's why gratitude is such a big piece, is right. Like the more we are in that state, the more we attract, because we're in that vibration, and everything is vibration, right? That's just basic, quantum physics. That's how the world works, right? It's everything is vibration. We are vibration. Our thoughts and feelings are vibration. So whatever you are, you attract the same frequency. So if we want, if you don't even have that desire, that step, right? Like what we love, how can we attract it? Because we're not vibrating at that. We vibrate something lower than this, right? So anyway, so that's the last step, and we can practice that today. And you've spoke that on many of the talks. So it's one is writing down, grateful for my husband, for my kids, for where I live. And the other one is, saying I give, like this morning, like I gave my son a hug, and we hugged for like a minute in the playground where I dropped him off. And he gives now these long hugs, and he's like, and I feel it, and I hug it, and I feel my entire body tingles, and I'm like, I am so grateful for this moment, right? Like, so it's that. So when we're not just writing that, but we feeling it. Like I have my cup of coffee this morning. I'm like, this is the best.
When you practice that, your whole life changes. So we probably should finish up, but that was amazing. I love who you are and what you stand for and your story. You're absolutely beautiful. You're so on the right path. Amazing what you do. So if people want to find those steps, is that you're having a health wealth mastermind coming up, right?
Yeah, so I'm having Health to Wealth Mastermind, and it's really, what we need to make our dreams come true, to change things and have more, joy, aliveness, everything. We know these things. Like we can read it. It's information, you can find it, right? But why does it happen? Because we need to live it, be in it, be a community of people that with it, and kind of really commit ourselves, right? And invest it. And so what I've created is this Health to Wealth Mastermind, and it's really going through a lot of these steps with intention, and have a community of supportive, women and men who are seeking for the same thing.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a 10 to 12 week program where we meet once every other week, and we'll have a fun exercises, play work, like Maya calls it, a play work to do in between, and truly connect and really make these steps towards that direction. And why I call it Health to Wealth is, oftentimes when we think of what we'd want more, we want more, more time, more freedom, more money. But as we become that bigger, beautiful, more grateful person, finance follow, right? Because the mindset is also determines our money mindset. So the reason we're not able to get there is because we are blocking some of the things, and there's, some of them are, energetic, but there's some of the steps. Maybe we're not taking some of the steps that would get us exponential growth in our business and our things that we're creating. So
now this starts on February 10th. Is it February 10th?
It starts February 10th, and it will be every other week for 10 weeks. So we'd love to join in. And this is a paid program typically, but because of Jane and you and your project, I am offering, I'm so excited. I'm offering for you to join free. And the only commitment that I'm asking is your full commitment of time and your full, I'm in it, I'm doing it, because it matters, because it's your life depends on it, right? Because if we can't find an hour in every 2 weeks to ourselves and towards our dreams, then that's not for you, right?
Offering it free to anyone that's watching on the Compassion Project. That's amazing. Are you going to put a link in the comments?
Yeah, I'll put a link and put a code. So would love to have you. Thank you, Jane. Thank you for having me today.
I'm going to put your website up here too. People want to go and check out your website. And honestly, Rasa, you truly are incredible. You inspire me. I'm so thankful, grateful that you came on today. You inspire a lot of people, and everyone dream big. I am totally into dreaming big. I have a book, Dream Big.
Oh, yes, that's where it starts.
Thank you everyone for watching. Feel free to share this and invite people to join her group. So I think it's going to be amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane.
Bye.